Hi guys, welcome. So I'm gonna practice with these, but since this is like the very beginning of my podcast life, I realize that I can't seem to talk more than 8 or 10 minutes without my mouth like going completely dry. And I have tea here, and I just start slurring over my words. So maybe I should just keep these mini episodes while I practice my length of time speaking. I hope everyone's having a great day. Today, I wanted to talk about something that we're always talking about, but there's so much more depth and meaning behind it, is people's vibes. So, everywhere you see good vibes, or bad vibes, or no bad vibes, or all of these different things that is used in today's culture. But it's actually like a legitimate thing. So we all have vibrations, and they never stay the same. They can change, and they do change very often. But everything has a vibration. So the earth has a vibration. And collectively, we can all actually raise the vibration of the earth. So we have the power of not only affecting our own vibration through our thoughts, through our actions, through our essence of who we are, but we also can affect everyone else's vibration that we come into contact with, whether it's physically, whether it's through internet, through texting, through any form of communication. There's so many different ways. So imagine like what's going on with everyone's vibration all the time, and why there's so many mood swings and just craziness, because we're all actually raising and lowering each other's vibrations. So the more that you meditate, the more practices that you incorporate into your daily life, the more that you pick up on stuff. So as I said before, our intuition, it's so important to really tune in and to really notice the intuition. Let it grow a little bit by meditating more, just starting somewhere with some consistent practice, whether it's once a week for 20 minutes. Start somewhere. Regardless, just start. So by meditating and becoming more conscious of yourself, you start to raise your own vibration, right? So as you're moving all of this other energy away from you, this energy that's other people's, that's kind of stuck in your space, when you meditate, you release all of that stuff, right? You're grounding. So you're grounding all of this stuff out and you're sending it away. Whether it's you're neutralizing it back into the earth, or you're sending this energy, you're giving it back to whoever you got it from. It seems like a lot, but it's so legit. And it's so important to really, as you're becoming more intuitive, just being aware of your own space, right? So we have an auric field. So it reaches out, it's like our arm's length around our entire body. And that can also change. So it can fluctuate. We can have a smaller auric field at certain times, and we can have a larger auric field at certain times. That's based on different conditions. We can also change that intuitively and when we choose, and sometimes it naturally just changes. But really focusing on our intuition, developing this sense of knowing when someone else's energy has come into our space. When we can recognize that and realize that that isn't our energy, but that's someone else's energy, we can move it out of our space even quicker. So if we're in the room and someone else enters, and you know how you could be in this situation and it just automatically puts you into a bad mood. So you don't know where it came from, you don't know why, you're not even sure what you were thinking about, but you just feel different, right? You can tell that this person is just having the worst day. You don't even have to know them, you don't have to know anything about them, but their presence of just being there has actually altered your vibration. So you don't feel as great as you were feeling before. So it's true. It's a real thing. And the more you practice this throughout your daily life, the more that you'll notice it. And then the more empowered you become to not let it affect you. So as I said before, we all vibrate at different frequencies. So if we vibrate at a higher frequency, we're able to attract more of a higher frequency versus people who vibrate at a lower frequency. So they're letting the ego mind kind of take control of their life, right? So they're not going to be attracting high vibrational people, things, ideas, situations. They're stuck and they're comfortable in this lower vibrational space. So if it's just negativity all the time, if it's anxiety, if it's fear, if it's these dark, deep, heavy feelings and emotions, then that's what they're going to be attracted to. So really just try being more mindful of this and seeing how it will come up. And I'm sure you could notice something like this every single day. And the first part in understanding all of this and learning to navigate it is really just learning to be aware of it through practicing. So if you're in your own space and someone comes in and your space is altered, just know that the energy that you received from this person isn't your energy. So intuitively, you can meditate, you can ground yourself. I listed in the other podcast a couple ways of really moving other people's energy out of your space using mindfulness practices, so you can really just give their energy back to them, and you won't be affected by it. It won't bring you down, right? Because we all want the best of everything for ourselves, right? We want to be happy. We want to have joy. We want to be blissful and be so gracious for everything that comes our way. And for us to attract all of these high vibrational things, whether they're things or not, whether they're just ideas, feelings, emotions, we need to resonate at that vibration. So practice just noticing, right? You'll notice when something comes up and you have been affected by someone else's energy, right? The strongest energy in the room always wins. So whether that's a very high vibration, which will actually make everyone's else's vibration go up, or it's a very low vibration, which will negatively affect everyone else's vibration. Notice that, right? And then you can be more intuitive of how to alter your own vibration and knowing that that isn't your energy, it's someone else's. So please let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear about some of your situations and different things that you were able to pick up on and notice. So thank you. I hope you guys have a great day.